I know I'm sort of being a bit dominant about it, but I'm trying to get through what we have left in this class to get through, so if you'll bear with me. We were talking here about the introduction in Acts, and I was telling you I always want to watch this standing material. For instance, in chapter 1:15, and he stood up in the midst of the disciples. So if you look at the pseudo-clementines that I gave you in that collection, if you bought that, you'll notice that the pseudo-clementines always have someone standing up. The attack on James in the temple and the Hegesippus issue, James stood up on the steps of the temple or wherever he was to deliver his lecture, or he stood on the wing of the temple or whatever. So this standing, but a lot of it I think goes back to the standing one ideology. I don't know if we have it in here, but this collection I have doesn't have it in here. I don't think so. But if you look at these things, these Clementine things carefully, you'll see that the standing one ideology is I don't have time to find it here. Is a big ideology of Simon Magus and all the Ebionites, actually. And the standing one was their view of what the Messiah was after the resurrection, this huge, mammoth type, standing also being the word in Hebrew for standing up from the dead, being resurrected from the dead. I think that's shining through some of this material, though it's not proven. Notice the apostles. There's line 13. Peter and James and John, those are always considered the central three. Now if you go into Galatians 1 and 2, let's look over in Galatians. Galatians 2, let's see, 9. But on the contrary, seeing I have been charged with the gospel to the uncircumcised, and even Peter to the circumcised, for he who had worked in Peter towards the apostle of the circumcision also worked in me towards the apostleship to the nations. Nations in Greek, ethne, which is where our word ethnic comes from. And when they saw the grace which was given to me, James, and now it's weird, he doesn't say Peter, he says Cephas. He's just been talking about Peter, and then he says Cephas. Now your translation may have Peter because your editor may have taken liberties, which is why I always tell you to get a Greek-English translation. That's why I ordered down in the bookstore for this class interlinear. There's an English and then the Greek under it, or the Greek and the English under it. And then you can see that the actual, you know enough fraternities and mathematics to recognize a kappa and a phi or a phi or whatever they call it. And you can see that what's written in there in Greek is Cephas. And you know enough to know, enough Greek, I'm sure, from math and fraternity and sororities to see what Petros looks like. So you see, to look at the Greek spelling, you can do it. You don't need to know a lot of Greek to dope out the words. And pretty soon you'll find that it'll come much easier, like there's James, Jacobus, Jacob, and so on. So James, Cephas, and John, but the James is James, the brother of the Lord here. Now, over in the Gospels, or the book of Acts, the James is the brother of John. And I think there's something going on there. My view, because I'm a cynic, and you don't have to agree with me, is obfuscation is going on. People who didn't like the James, the brother of the Lord, start to feature another character called James, the brother of John. So they just moved the brother up from the Lord to John. And you say, why would they do that? Why Why would they do that? First of all, I go back to Paul. You won't find in any of Paul's letters a reference to it, James, the brother of John. It doesn't exist in Paul's letters. You say, well, maybe he was dead already. Maybe, maybe not. Point is, you'd think Paul knew him. He never mentions it. He knows it, John, but he never mentions it, James, the brother of John. And I think that has to do, and that's my own personal view, and shared by maybe no one in the universe. Still, it's something to think about, and that's what Ron was saying. You should try to think about this and see what you think. That, you see, as you eliminate James, the brother of Jesus, or the brother of the Lord, you also eliminate the group represented by him, which seems to not to have agreed with the other group very much. And the main issue between them was the law and observation of the law, whether to be a messianist, what would later be called a Christian, whether you had to observe the law or not. And you say, well, no, of course not. We're Christians. We don't observe the law. Yeah, because we're the products of this argument. Paul won the argument. But you say, well, Paul represents Jesus. That's the question we've been posing in Christian arguments from the beginning. How much does Paul and his colleagues represent Jesus, and how little do they? That is the issue. The people who wrote the Gospels obviously felt that he did, but I'm not sure, because we don't know when those Gospels ultimately took their final form. I'm not sure that that is an accurate representation of whoever Jesus was, if we can pinpoint him, and as we've saying, that's what the question of the historical Jesus are. So I've tried to say in my work, let's look at Paul, let's look at James, those people we know more or less where they stood. And then our job is to fill in where we think Jesus stood in between them. And, so this idea that there is a James, the brother of John, and not a James, the brother of Jesus, has a lot of implications. That's all I can tell you. Okay, and there's a Mary, the mother of Jesus, and his brothers considered to be apart from these apostles. Then we get this speech. Peter stands up and quotes the Psalms, as we saw. And I said that, who's got a Bible with them that I can, you want to find this Psalm for me? Psalm 69 and let's look at Psalm 69 and 105, 109. Look at 69:5 first. What do you have there in 69:5? I didn't bring my Bible with me. What's it read that?